Good evening. Welcome all for today's webinar. Our today's speaker is Madam Harshada Prabhune. Madam is a founder and owner of Harshada Prabhune and Company, a cost accounting firm dedicated to helping small to big business thrive. She is a qualified cost accountant and company secretary along with MBA Finance with 9 years of corporate experience and more than 7 years of management consultant and practicing cost accountant. She owns a management consultancy and works on projects or assignment basis in the areas accounts, finance, costing, MIS, budgeting, company law, and auditing. Welcome you, ma'am, and request you to start the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. Today, I will be talking about the latest amendment in ROC filing for the companies under the Companies Act 2013. I choose this topic as we all know that there is a migration or a big change in a MCA portal with effect from 14 July. And as we all know that we are getting the notification as well that few of the logins are disabled from the yesterday night itself. So that is this is a very live topic. So we all are facing. So this topic is useful for all those who are currently dealing with the ROC compliances and who are also interested in the ROC compliances. That's the reason I choose this topic. So I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we open the MCA nowadays, this window is getting pop up in the MCA website. So what is this window is basically, this is a latest notification by the MCA for the migration. So what is this migration is basically, the MCA notices in our continuous endurance to serve you a better, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that is MCA, is launching a final set of 38 company forms, which includes 13 annual filing forms and 6 cost audit forms with effect from 14 July 2025. As I explained at the time of the introduction itself that from the yesterday itself, the V2 login is no more exists. You must have seen very memes in the WhatsApp or the social media for the closing of the V2 login. So what is this notice is basically, this facilitates the implementation of these forms in the V3 M3A portal. Stakeholders are advised to do the following. This is the MCA notice to the stakeholders. So who are the stakeholders? Basically, stakeholders are nothing but the shareholders, owners, and creditors, directors, managing directors, key manager personnel. All these are called as stakeholders for the companies. So what the MCA says, company e-filing on the V2 folder will be disabled from the 18th June 2025, that 12 a.m. This is closed from the yesterday midnight itself. Thus, all the stakeholders are advised to ensure that no SRN are under pending payment and resubmission status. This we will discuss in the later side. Offline payment in a V2 using a pay later option will be stopped from the 8th June 2025. So this is already been stopped. Therefore, you are requested to make a payment for these forms in a V2 through the online mode only, credit, debit card, and net banking. In a view of upcoming launch, a V3 portal will not be available from the 9th July 12 a.m. to 13 July 2025. That is 4 days. This V3 login will not be available. So we have to close either before 9 or we have to start after 13 July or 14 July. Accordingly, the stakeholders are advised to plan and file and resubmit a current V3 forms before 9 July, as there will no waiver for the fees or extension for resubmission. But this notification is an older one. Yesterday, the MCA has given a new notification in which the MCA has waived the fees for the extension of this period. The stakeholders are advised to create the user ID, upgrade user ID V2 and V3 under the business user category. This we will see in a practical how to do this along with the DSC. The stakeholders are required to check the SRN that are currently pending with the status pending for upload for the investor details and pending for subsidiary details, upload details by using a services available to the MCA portal. This also we will see in a later folder what I mean by the pending and uploaded forms. So this is basically nothing but the copy paste of the MCA notification that the MCA V2 login is permanently stopped from the yesterday itself. So there are various messages in a WhatsApp also that all the V2 logins has been permanently stopped from the yesterday itself. So now let us discuss what are the controls of the ROC. So ROC controls private limited companies, public limited companies, one-person company, limited liability partnership, Section 8 company, government company, and company limited by share. So now, what are the various MCA forms or the heads of the MCA forms? This we will see in the practical as well. The first one is incorporation and initial filing. So incorporation means formation of a company. We, being a cost accountant, can also form a company by using our own membership number. So this is under our scope, and initial filing is nothing but all the compliances which we require to do on the date of the formation of the company. Then annual filing, we will discuss few forms of the annual filing. Then change in company details. So what are the company details are basically this is nothing but all the clauses of memorandum, that is change in name, change in director, change in business place, change in liability, change in asset, and many more. So financial and other report, this is nothing but our financial statement. So this also we will discuss in detail how to file this AOC4 form and other specific forms. So other specific form includes all other details like the meeting conducting, that in minutes of meeting, invitations of the stakeholders for the meeting, other discussions in the meeting. All this will be covered under other specific form. And the last category is form relating to the charge. So what is a charge basically? When a company wants to take a secure loan, they want some secured asset to be lien with a banking or financial institute. And if the asset is lien with a financial institute or a bank, we have to create a charge document in a MCA or ROC. This form we will discuss in a detail. So these are basically 6 headings for the MCA in which a cost accountant in practice is having a scope to file these forms. So this is the old login. We all have said goodbye to this V2 login yesterday midnight. So this was the old V2 login. You can see user ID, password and CAPTCHA. So this was the basic requirement for the V2 login. But this is no more exist as far as the compliances are concerned from the yesterday midnight. So we used to upload the form by here. If you can see, this is the SRN number. We have to put our SRN number here and we used to upload the e-forms here. We have to submit it and upload to the ROC portal. This was the old V2 format. So now moving to the V3. So what is who can use this V3? Basically, if you are, this is the MCA notification. If you are a professional like CA, CMA, CS, please register as a business user using your membership number and PAN. So we have to use our membership number and PAN to register ourselves as a business user for this V3 login. This we will discuss in detail. Then if you are a director and designation partner, you have to register with a D or DPIN. If you are a company, then you have to register with a C or LLP identification number and PAN as well. If you are a manager, secretary, authorized person, officer, in default, we have to register using only with a PAN. So there is no membership number required, no PAN number is required if we are registering only as a manager or other person. So signatories and practicing professional who will be signing the form are required to register their DSC with their business user role. This we will discuss in detail. Okay, so now welcome to this V3 login. This is all about V3 login. This is a screenshot, but later on we will see it in a practical how the V3 login is working. So here, if you see the user ID is SIN, LLPIN, FSRN for a company, LLP, email ID and other users. So here, being a practicing professional, we have to use our email ID. We have to generate a password. By if we click on the register, you will get all the required fields to be filled to get and register, then a captcha, and then you can create your V3 login. This is active from today till the 14th July and again for 9th July and again for the 5 days, this will be inactive. So now after login, what we can see in a V3 login. So first one is DSC service. So first of all, why we require to register our DSC on a MCA? Because DSC is nothing but our digital signature, right? So if we are signing some form by using our DSC and if we are uploading that form on the MCA portal, at that time, our DSC should be registered with the MCA, then only MCA can validate our form. So again, as discussed in the first slide, we can register our DSC either with our professional membership number or COP number or with a DIN or DIPL. So what are the services available in this e-filing? Here company forms download, upload forms is also available, download submitted form, track annual filing and other availability. Here we also are having a option to view a public document. What is a public document? This is nothing but all the documents uploaded by the company to the ROC, which we can see by paying 100 rupee charges to the MCA. We can download in documents of any company which we require. And why we require this service? In case of a merger and acquisition, suppose one company wants to purchase another company. So before going further, the company want to do the due diligence or a forensic audit for that company. For that purpose, we require to view a public document. So what exactly a company has filed with the ROC. So these are the MCA services available. So now, who can register their DSC? This is manager, director. So director has to register their DSC by using the DIN. Then manager and secretary, they can register their DSC. Practicing professional like CA, CMA, CS, they can register their DSC by using a membership number. Authorized representatives, like for any purpose, like for bank can appoint their authorized representative, any legal department can appoint their authorized representative, or any court can appoint their authorized representative. They can also register their DSC. Then nodal officer can register their DSC over here, and deputy nodal officer can also register their DSC here. So now, these are the MCA services. So this is first one, you can see a DSC services relating to the V2 DSC. This is no longer applicable from the yesterday midnight. Then master data, we can see a master data for any company. So for the master data, we don't need to pay anything. You can just put the SIN number or LLP number and put a captcha, and you can see any master data available for that company. These are the LLP's e-filing. This is nothing but the LLP annual forms available. FO services, this we will discuss in a later slide. Then DSC related services for the V3. So this is a new one. So what notification we are getting till yesterday was, even if your DSC is registered with a V2 login, you have to re-register your DSC with a V3 login so as to avail all the services available on a V3 portal on and after today. So company filing, these all forms we will discuss in a later slide. Complaint. So document related services, here again a public document which I discussed in the last slide. Then fee and payment services, you can pay a fee against your SRN. If your any SRN is pending for the payment, you can put your SRN here and you can pay the fee for that particular SRN. Then IFPF related services, ID data bank. ID is nothing but independent director. So you can get a data of entire independent director database here on a one click. Track SRN status. If your any SRN is pending, you can track the status here. But we are getting a continuous email from the MCA as well for our SRN status, whether it is pending, whether it is rejected, whether it is accepted, everything we are getting the email from the MCA as well. Then address for sending the physical copies, public search trademark, application for MHS security clearance, LLP form, this is a letter view only, and CG approval. So now, this is nothing but a compliance calendar. Many private limited companies are not aware about what are the annual compliances they have to do after incorporation of the companies. So this is one of the scope of the practicing cost accountant, where we can do all the annual compliances of a private limited company with a due date. So these due dates is nothing but is called as a compliance calendar. So the first one is commencement of business certificate within 180 days of incorporation. So we will get a certificate of commencement from the 180 days from our incorporation. After getting this certificate, we have to appoint an auditor. For that, we have to generate an annual general meeting. In this annual, after that, we will file the additive one. This additive one also we will discuss in a later slide. So what is the due date for that? Within a 15 days of the AGM. Holding a board meeting, so there is no as such deadlines available for the board meeting, but there must be minimum 4 board meetings during the calendar year, as per the schedule of the board meeting. Next, conducting of the AGM. So what is the due date for that? Within a 9 months from the financial year end. So in India, a financial year end is 31st March. So our AGM should be on or before 31st December. So this is the due date of the AGM. INC 20A form. This form is for declaration of the commencement of the business. So this is a once in a lifetime. So we have to file this form within a 180 days of the incorporation. AOC 4, this is filing of financial statement. This is annual form. And what is the due date for that? Within a 30 days of the AGM. Then MGT 7A, annual return for the small companies and OPC. OPC is nothing but 1% company. So due date is within a 60 days from the AGM. DRR 12, appointment and resignation of a directors. So within a 30 days from the appointment and resignation. After the 30 days, MCA will automatically calculate the late fees. And we are bound to pay the late fee. We do not have any option for that. DRR 3, that is KYC. This is the annual compliances, and the due date for the same is 30th September. If any director fails to do the KYC before 30th September, his deed will be blocked on immediate effect from the 1st October. So this is also under the scope of practicing cost accountant. We can also do the KYC for the directors. MGT 14, this is a board resolution. So after completion of every meeting, we have to pass a resolution in a meeting, and this resolution to be filed with the ROC with the form MGT 14. Then DPT 3, this is return on deposit. This is applicable only to the public company, as only public company has a right to accept the deposit from the public. So what is the due date for that? 30th June of every year. So before 30th June, we have to file the DPT 3. Then director's report. So this should be given at least 21 days before to the AGM. Why? Because this will be the part and parcel of the agenda of the AGM, in which the director's report should be discussed. Maintenance of statutory register and books of accounts throughout the financial year. So there is no as such due date for that. And last, circulation of financial statement and other relevant document. at least 21 days before the AGM, same as a director report. So either you can send along with the director report the same financial statement, so that there can be a discussion with this financial statement along with the director's report in the AGM. These are the due dates or a compliance calendar for a private limited companies. Now moving to the latest notification happened on MCA on 16 June 2025. While explaining the first initial slides, we see that there was a additional fees for the late filing of the forms. But day before yesterday, MCA has given a notification that there is a relaxation of additional fees for filing of 13 e-forms during a period where the migration is happening from V2 to V3 portal. So this notification of 16 June, what does this mean? There will not be any additional fee for filing the below forms. So what are these forms? AOC4, what is the purpose of this form? Form for filing the financial statement and other documents with the registrar. AOC4 NBFC. NBFC stands for non-banking financial companies. These companies are also registered with the MCA, but we have to follow both MCA as well as RBI regulation for the annual compliances of NBFC. That is the reason there is a separate form for AOC NBFC. Next, AOC CFS. CFS is nothing but consolidated financial statement. As the name suggests, this form is applicable only to the group companies, where individual company will prepare their financial statement, and at a head office or at a main company, there will be a consolidated financial statement. So that is the reason we have to file this with a separate form, which called as an AOC4 CFS. Next, we have AOC4 CFS NBFC. So this is consolidated financial statement for non-banking financial companies. So that is the reason there is a separate form for the NBFC and AOC for XBRL. So as in a case of a cost audit, we have to generate a XML by using the XBRL. The same way for AOC purpose, we can use the XBRL, but there are two separate XBRL for the costing and annual return purposes. Then MGT7, this is nothing but an annual return. This also we will discuss in a later slide in a brief. Then MGT15, this is report on the annual general meeting. GNL1, application for the extension of the AGM. This also we will discuss in detail. LIP1, submission of prospectus with the registrar. Then ADT1, appointment of an director. ADT3, resignation by the auditor. CRA2, appointment of an auditor. And CRA4, cost audit report. For CRA2 and CRA4, we had a wonderful webinar in a last week. So I'm not going to cover CRA2 and CRA4 in a practical in the today's session, but other forms we will discuss in a practical in today's session. So these are the list of the 18 forms which are poured from the V2 login to V3 login. So this we just discussed. So as we all know, any act is divided into two parts. The first one is sections and second one is rule. So every section we have to read along with the rules. So these are basically the rules affect to the particular forms. For example, AOC4, this under the company accounts rule. Then extract auditors report. This is also under accounts rule. Extract auditors standalone. Standalone means this is a consolidated with a group companies, and this is for the individual one. So this is also covered under accounts rule. Board report is also covered under accounts rule. AOC, all the AOCs are covered under accounts rule. And for MGT, all the three MGTs are covered under management and administration rules. All the four ADTs, ADT1, ADT2, ADT3, ADT4, that is notice for the appointment of an auditor, removal of the auditor, resignation of an auditor, and this is for the government companies. This covered under Audit and Auditors Rule 2014. Then GNL1, this covered under registration of offices and fees. INC 22.1, this is active company tagging identities and verification. This covered under incorporation rule. CSR1, this is applicable only to the listed companies. So this covered under corporate social responsibility policy rule. CRA4, CRA2 and CRA4, this is under cost records and audit. CRN1, the company's restriction on number of layers rules 2017. LIP1, this form is for submission of the prospectus. So this covered under the listing of the equities. Complaint form, there is no as such rule available because anyone can complain as per their own norms. Then 23C, this is an old form. Old, why I'm saying old? Because this form is under the Companies Act 1956. So now this is also moved to the V3 login. So all these forms, if you can see here, are relating to or belonging to the Companies Act 1956. These are not relating to the Companies Act 2013. That is the reason there was a need to port this form from V2 login to V3 login. Now we will discuss the forms one by one. So this is the first notification by the MCA, that is Companies Audit and Auditors Amendment Rule 2025, dated 30th May 2025. So these are 4 forms. Additive 1, this is for the appointment of an auditor. Additive 2, this is for the removal before expiry of the term. Additive 3, this is resignation of an auditor. Additive 4, this is for the appointment by the central government. We will discuss this form here. So this is additive 1. Is this form visible to all? So this is a notification given by the ROC for the additive 1 form. So what is this form is basically? This is the additive 1 form. This is for the appointment of an auditor. Is this form visible to all? So this is additive 1. This is for the appointment of an auditor. So this is a corporate identification number that is seen. So every company, when we register on a MCA, we will get a SIN, that is corporate identification number. So if we enter this corporate identification number here, we just have to pre-fill the same. So after pre-filling, this data will automatically come. That is name of the company, address of the company, email ID of the company. This will automatically come. How? At the time of the formation of the company, we have filed all these details along with the formation form. That is the reason if on the CIN that is seen, this information is already linked to that. If we enter the scene and if we pre-fill the same, we will get name of the company, address of the company and email address of the company. Now here we have to select whether the company is following any class of the companies under section 139(2) or not. Then after that, the nature of appointment. So here there are basically three types of the appointment. One is a regular appointment. One is a joint appointment. If we are appointing two auditors at a time, then there is a joint auditor. One is a casual vacancy. The casual vacancy is nothing but the vacancy which is not a normal vacancy, but which creates due to the death of the auditor or insolvency of an auditor or any other things. So whether the joint auditor has been appointed, so if we select the joint auditor as a nature of the company, we have to select yes into that. What is a joint auditor? Is basically a joint auditor is nothing but the two auditors are appointed at a time to conduct the audit of the company. This is called as a joint auditor. Okay, and here we see that whether the company is falling under any clause of section 139 subsection 2. Subsection 2 is nothing but the reappointment of an auditor. Okay, so whether the joint auditor is appointed, we can select the yes. If we select the yes, then there are the two details we have to file for that. Then number of the auditor. So if suppose there is only one auditor, we will put a 1 here. If there is a joint auditor, we can put 2 over here. The category of an auditor, only 2 categories are allowed. One is individual and second one is firm. Firm, that is a partnership firm. So it means that LLP and a company are not eligible to get appointed as an auditor of the company. Then PAN number of the audit firm, name of the auditor or the audit firm, membership number of the auditor or firm's registration number in case of the firm, then address of an auditor, city, state, country, pin code, period of the accounts for which it is appointed. Usually a stat auditor is appointed for the 5 years for many companies, or otherwise a company wants to appoint only for the 1 year. Company has a right to select the period from here. The company can select a period from here. So if it is a newly formed company and the auditor is appointed from the October, we can select the October here from, and due date will be on the 31st March itself. So in all the cases, the due date will be 31st March. So number of financial year, as I explained just now, for a statutory auditors, the tenure period can be of 5 years. So we can select the 5 years. And if we are selecting only for the 1 year's appointing, then we have to write only 1 over here. So number of years we have to write over here. Whether the appointment of an auditor is within the limit of 20 companies as prescribed under section 141. So what is 141 is? 141 gives the limitations for the statutory auditors, so that how many stat audits he can conduct during a particular period. So limit is 20 companies. So we have to select yes or no in that particular case. So here specify the tenure of the previous appointment of an auditor or audit firm or its member in same company in which the audit was conducted or its functioning excluding the previous year, having a break of 5 or more years as a specific in a rule. So in this case, if the auditor is if the auditor is already an appointed, so we have to write the number of financial year here, the person appointed as an auditor, financial year start date and end date. So whether the auditor has been appointed in annual general meeting, if we select the yes, we have to put the AGM date over here. So why this option is available here? Because in case of the casual vacancy, it is not necessary that the auditor is appointed under AGM. So only a regular auditor is appointed under the AGM. Hence, the option is given whether the auditor is appointed under AGM or not. So we have to put the AGM date over here. Date of appointment. This is a mandatory. All the stars are mandatory over here. whether the auditor is appointed due to the casual vacancy. The casual vacancy is defined under section 139 subclause 4. It means this is not a regular appointment, but this appointment is due to, it might be the death of an auditor, insolvency of an auditor, the auditor's unwillingness to continue as an auditor, or many other reasons are there. So these are called as an casual vacancy. This is absolutely not a regular vacancy. So SRN we have to file over here. Person vacated office. So up to what period he was there? Individual or audit firm. Mention the date of such a vacancy or reason of the casual vacancy. So if we select any reason here, we have to attach in an optional form over here. Suppose we have chosen the reason that the death of the auditor. So we have to attach the death certificate of auditor here in the optional attachment. So if we say that due to the insolvency, so we have to attach the letter of insolvency of an auditor in the year under the optional attachment. So again, now this is to be digitally signed. Director's identification number by using the Dean, PAN, manager, or CEO or CFO can also sign by using their membership number. And who can sign there? Company secretary can sign the same. So this is basically the additive one. This is the notice of the registrar for the company for appointment of an auditor. So this is the resignation of an auditor. So why it is mandatory to inform the ROC about the resignation of an auditor? So if something happened in the period which after the resignation of an auditor, in that case, the auditor is not liable for such a liability towards the company or towards the ROC. That is the reason it is mandatory to file the ADT 3 with the ROC for the resignation. So we are disclosing ROC that particular auditor is no longer auditor with us. So all other things will remain the same, that is corporate identification number, global identification number, name of the company, category of the company, income tax PAN number, all these things will remain the same. Now, from the 5th, the date of the appointment of the audit firm. So on what date that auditor was appointed, date of resignation, on what date the auditor has resigned from the post of the auditor, then reason for the resignation, we have to show that. And then here we have to attach the DSC, our DSC fellow or associate, we have to select by membership number, and we have to attach resignation letter of an auditor and other attachment, any, if any. So we have to check the form. If there is no error in this form, or if there is any error, we can go with a modified form. And if there is no error, we can go with the pre-scrutiny. If we successfully do the pre-scrutiny, we have to submit this form to the ROC. So this is the next amendment. So this amendment was basically from the 30th May 2025. So now we will move to the next amendment. This amendment is the company's Indian accounting standard, that is Ind AS Amendment Rule 2025, Indian Accounting Standard Ind AS 21. This amendment is of 7th May. This is basically for the foreign exchange rate. So this is Ind AS 21, which is the effect of the change in the foreign exchange rate. So what is the amendment is basically, this is the basically the original form, for original rule, rule number 26 for Ind AS 21. So what is the amendment for that? Paragraph 8, accounting principle, sub-paragraph shall be inserted. So what is the change in the foreign exchange rate? New para is inserted. What is this para? A currency is exchangeable into another currency when an entity is able to obtain other currency within a time frame that allows for a normal administration delay and through a market or an exchange mechanism in which an exchange transaction should create enforceable rights and obligations. So here certain delay is allowed, that is administration delay or which is a normal delay is allowed, but within a time frame there should be an exchange of the currency. So 8A says that an entity assesses whether a currency is exchangeable into another currency. In what way? Either in a measurement date or for a specific purposes. So 8B says if an entity is able to obtain more than one insignificant amount of other currency at a measurable date for a specific purpose, the currency is not exchangeable into another currency. So not more than one is allowed at a time as per the new regulation. Further, it says that for a standalone entity, so below amendment is only for the standalone entity. This is not for the CFS, that is consolidated financial statement. So what does it say? Estimating a spot rate when a currency is not exchangeable. So this applicable if we have to value the currency as on the closing date is specifically on a 31st March. So it is saying that it should be at a spot exchange rate. So new clause 19A is inserted, which was not there in the earlier rule. It says that an entity shall estimate a spot exchange rate at a measurement date when a currency is not exchangeable into another currency as explained above at that date. An entity's objective is estimating a spot exchange rate to reflect the rate which the orderly exchange transaction should take place at a time of the measurement date between a market participant and prevailing the economic condition. So though it is a spot rate and not a forward rate, we have to intimate it on an estimated basis. This is basically the new amendment of the IND-AS. Again, there is a small change in the para 26. What is the change is basically previously in the old version, there was one clause which is now omitted. The clause was if the exchangeability between the two currencies is temporarily lacking, the rate used is first subsequent rate in which exchanges could be made. So it means that if the exchange rate is not available on a particular date, on a spot date, so in the previous clause, it was mentioned that we can use a first subsequent rate. Now this clause is removed from a new amendment. It means we cannot use the first subsequent rate. We have to use a spot rate only. And this is with the immediate effect. So this notification is given by the MC on the 7th May and it is applicable on the immediate effect, means on and after 7th May. We cannot use the first subsequent rate, but we have to use the spot rate only. No, one more amendment under this in IND-AS as far as the para 57 is concerned. So new para 57A is inserted. What is this para? When an entity estimates a spot exchange rate because a currency is not exchangeable into another currency, as we discussed in our earlier slide, the entity shall disclose information that enables user of their financial statement to understand how the currency not being exchangeable into another currency affects or is expected to affect the entity's financial performance, financial position, and cash flow to achieve the objective. So what are the objectives for that? The nature and financial effect of the currency not being exchangeable, the spot exchange rate, the estimation process, and the risk to which the entity is exposed because of the currency not being exchangeable. So this risk, again, we have to value as per the spot rate is concerned. We cannot consider the forward exchange rate for the valuation of the risk in the particular case. So there is a small amendment in this account rule. So what is this? This is nothing but the extension of the filing of the form till 31st June. As this V2 is completely moving to the V3, many of the professionals are not aware about how to file these forms. And again, the XBRL also is not that much updated. Hence, the MCA has extended the time for the company accounts form CSR4, CSR2 along with the AOC4 from 31st March to 30th June. So what is CSR2 is basically, CSR2 is applicable only to the public companies, listed or unlisted, but all the public companies have to transfer certain amount from their profit to the CSR activities, that is corporate social responsibility activities, and that portion we have to report to the ROC under a form CSR2. So now this due date is extended from the 31st March to 30th June due to the port from V2 to V3. Now, this is a proposed, this is not yet finalized for the compromise, arrangement and amalgamation. So this is applicable only to the strategic alliances, that is merger, amalgamation, takeover or strike off of the companies. This is only in a proposed form. This is not yet in a rules form. So what is a proposal? Under the para 101, it has been proposed to widen the scope of section 233. So what is section 233 of the Companies Act? This is nothing but all the strategic compliances, that is the amalgamation, merger, acquisition or strike off for more classes of the companies under Rule 25 of CA Rules 2016. The suggestion received on this budget para during the discussion held on the 4th March, and the post-budget seminars have also been taken into account while proposing the widened scope of this Rule 25. So this is again only a proposal. This is not yet finalized, so that is not in rule. So there is no effective date from such a proposal at this moment. So now, this is a new amendment, Companies Cost Records and Audit Amendment Rules 2025, dated 31st May 2025. The amendment is both the form in CRA 2, that is appointment of an cost auditor, and CRA 4, that is the cost audit report. But we have a very wonderful session in last 15 days about this CRA 2 and CRA 4. So I'm not going to cover this in a particular my session. Okay. So now further to this Management and Administration Amendment Rules 2025. This is again dated 30th May 2025. There is a new form launched for the MGT 7, MGT 7A and MGT 15. This we will discuss. So this is MGT 7. What is this form is basically? This form is for the annual return. So this is the name itself suggests we have to file this form annually. And this is applicable other than OPC and small company. OPC is one-person companies. So apart from the OPC and small companies, every company has to file this form. We have discussed the due date of this MGT 7 in a compliance calendar. So how to fill this form? Again, corporate identification number, financial year for which the annual return is filed, financial year for which the annual return is will filed, to date, from date and to date. Type of annual filing, whether this is original or revised. It means we have an option to file a revised MGT 7, but we have to pay extra ROC charges for that. Then SRN number. So if we choose the revised one, we have to give the SRN number of the original MGT 7 which have filed and against which we are revising the return. So that SRN is mandatory here. In which particulars are required: name of the company as on filing date, registered office of the company, latitude of details and latitude details. Photograph of the registered office of the company showing the external building and name. Here the address should also be visible as per the new norms of the MCA. PAN number of the company, email ID of the company, telephone number. Website is not mandatory. Date of incorporation, this should match with the incorporation certificate. Class of the company, that is private company, public company or one-person company. Category of the company, whether this company is limited by share, whether this company is limited by guarantee, whether this company is unlimited company. Subcategory: Indian non-government company, union government company, state government company, guarantee and association company, and subsidiary foreign company. Whether the company is having a share capital, why this option is available? Because many companies can form without a share capital as well. So if we select the yes, we have to give the shares details, share capital details. Whether the share is listed with the stock exchange, if yes or no, we have to give. Then details of the stock exchange. If the company is registered under the stock exchange, under a multiple stock exchange, we have to give the multiple stock exchanges names along with the code, number of the register and transfer agent, annual general meeting date, if applicable. Principal activities. These principal activities are the purpose or objectives of the company for which the company is in exist. Holding company if applicable. So this is not a mandatory. So what details we require to give under the share capital? Authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, and paid up capital. Total number of equity shares, total number of in numbers and in rupees. Class of the shares, number of equity shares, nominal value, and total value. Same for the preference shares. This is unclassified share capital. Total amount of unclassified share capital, that breakup of share capital. So what is the breakup of share capital? This also should match with the annual report given by the chartered accountant. Otherwise, there will be a notice from the ROC saying that this breakup is not matching with the annual file. So what is the breakup required? Number of share in a physical or demand. Nowadays, all the share certificates are in the demand form only. Physical share certificate does not exist. Nominal amount, total paid up amount, and total premium. So this is the yearly form. So here, total premium we have to give. So opening share capital increase during the year. So how we have increased, whether we have done a public issue, right issue, or bonus issue, private placement, ESOP, that is employee stock exchange policy, sweet equity share, conversion of preference shares, conversion of debentures, GDR and ADR, and other specific. And decrease, why there will be a decrease in the share capital? It is due to the buyback of shares forfeited, reduction of a share capital, and other specific. And this will be a closing balance. This closing balance will be automatically calculated after filing all the details. Same we have to give for the preference shares. Preference shares are applicable only to the limited companies. This is not applicable to the private companies. But in a same format, we have to give opening, increase, decrease, and closing. Then we have a stock split. Stock split means suppose during the particular financial year, the face value is divided or split into a different class of the shares. Then we have to give what was the original face value, number of shares after split up, and face value. But nowadays, for these purpose, we need to take a certificate from the register valuer. So attachment, details of the share transfer, we have to attach here. The maximum is 2 MB. So we have to convert our PDF in a 2 MB only. Debentures, this is also applicable only to the public companies and not to the private companies. So there are, we have to classify this debenture into two parts: convertible debentures and non-convertible debentures. So we have to give classes of the debentures, number of units, nominal value, and non-convertible debentures outstanding, that is opening, increase during the period, decrease, and closing during the period, closing at the end of the period. Then this is for the partly convertible debentures. Again, number of debentures, nominal value, total value, class, opening, increase, decrease, and closing. And this all should match with the annual report given by the chartered accountant. This is fully convertible debenture. Class of the fully convertible debentures, number of units, nominal value, and total value, opening, increase, decrease, and closing. And this is a summary of all the threes. That is non-convertible debenture, partly convertible debentures, fully convertible debentures. Securities, other than the shares and debentures, if any securities we have to give the type of security, number of security, nominal value per unit, total nominal value, paid up value per unit, and total paid up value. This is turnover and net worth. This is shareholding pattern. This is to be matched with the annual report or the auditor's report. So category under individual, how many equity shares are there, how many preference shares are there, and what is the percentage of holding. This percentage is nothing but percentage of holding. This is also required for us for the cost audit purpose. Individual, whether this is Indian or non-NRI or FNRI, then if it is government, then whether it is central, state or other government companies, insurance companies, bank, financial institute, financial institutional investors, that is called as an FII, mutual fund, venture capital, and body corporate. This is other than the promoters. If any equity or preference share is there, in a same format we have to give. This is a breakup. Female, male, and others. Number of promoters, details of directors. This is a KMP. So this is a composition of KMP, how many promoters you have, under which how many are executive and how many are non-executive, number of directors at the end of the year. So this is the opening numbers, this is the closing numbers, and percentage of share held. So this is again a shareholding pattern in a different format. It includes promoters, non-promoters, nominee directors. Who can nominate the directors? Bank, FIs, and investing activities. Government can nominate the directors, other small shareholders, and others. Then details of the directors and key manager personnel, we have to give the dean or PAN designation, number of equity shares, and number of cessation. Cessation means if he is not a KMP, then from which date he is not a KMP. Why this is required? If there is any pending litigation of the company, the KMP is responsible if he or she was there for that particular date in a company. So this is a change in the director. This is also required for the director's responsibility statement, that is DRS, whether that person was as a director on that company when that particular things happen in a company or not. For this purpose, this form is very, very important, especially in the case of filing the case against the company or against the director. Meeting of the members, class of the members, board. So we have to give the meeting details here, type of meeting, date of the meeting, total number of the members and attend the meeting, and attendance. Then board meeting, date of the meeting, total number of directors attended the meeting, number of directors, and percentage of the RTT. Committee meeting, if any. So committee meeting is applicable only to the limited companies, not for the private limited companies. Then attendees of the directors, board meeting, number of meeting held, number of meeting attended, and again the committee meeting. This is the remuneration of director under section 203. The number of directors whole time, what is his designation, what is his gross salary, what is the commission during the year, what is the stock option given to him, other, and total. This is also for the CEO, CFO, and company secretary, because though these are not the directors, they are the key manager personnel of the company. The number of other directors whose remuneration details are entered. Matters relating to the certification of the compliances. So this certificate is given by the practicing company secretary for the compliances purposes. Penalty and punishment, if any. So who was the responsible for that particular event, the name of the director, which court it was held, what was the date of the order, what is the nature of the act, in which act he was sued, then the details of the penalty, what was the suit against him, and details of the appeal, whether this is against the company or for the company. So this is again same for the compounding offenses as well. So what attachment we have to give? List of the shareholders, debenture holders in an Excel statement. So nowadays we can also sign the list of the shareholders and debenture holders. So the cost accountant can sign this list, and we have to attach here again here the maximum size is 20 MB only. So compliance is under subsection 92 in case of the listed company. So this is applicable only to the listed company. So this certificate we have to give that all the details are true over here under the statute of the Act. So here associate and fellow we have to select certificate of COP number, our COP number, dean or membership number of designated person, name of the designated person, details of board resolution, that is resolution number and resolution date. And who can sign this form? This first form can be signed by company secretary and company secretary in practice and a fellow member for the same. This is MGT 7. So now what are the key changes in this MGT 7? So we can see that the MGT 7 is for the OP other than the OPC and small companies. MGT 7A is for other than the small company, other than OPCs and small companies, and MGT 15 for the AGM. So what are the key changes in MGT 7 here? The shareholders and debenture holders lists via Excel format, which have seen over in the form. Gender-wise details for the shareholders. So why we require the gender-wise details? Because there is a mandatory woman directors required for the listed companies as well as the limited companies. That is the reason gender-wise details of the shareholders are required. If a minimum number of women directors are not there in a company, the company will get a notice stating that the women directors are not appointed. Then we have to give the photographs of register office as we have discussed in the form, the meeting details via Excel format, capture the company name and address of the financial year end, beneficial ownership of the designated details, and MGT8 link form. Offline and online filing flexibility is available till it is completely get migrated. If after the migration, this offline utility will not be available anymore. So what is the compliance implications for the practitioner in this case? What we have to do or what is expected from us? Prepared to manage and guide a client on filing and uploading the Excel a template for a shareholder details and meeting records. So we have to guide our clients on how to file the Excel format. The Excel template we have to file and we have to upload the same to the PDF form which we have just seen. So as a professional, we have to guide our client for filing this Excel format. Second, what we have to do is ensure the company compliances with a new photograph submission for the register office. So why this is required basically is, as we all know, after the lockdown, there are many fake companies happen. The formation of fake companies. That is the reason nowadays, in case of the formation of the company, a practicing professional CS has to give their confirmation that I have verified all the documents of the company. Then only he or she can do the formation of the company. That is the reason for the proof of the register, as a proof of the register offices already or actually exist. We have to attach a new photograph for this particular form. Then monitor the changes in the company name and address as a financial year and accurate disclosure. So if there is any change in the name and address in a particular financial year, we have to disclose in a particular form itself. Assist the company in identifying and updating the details of designated person. So who are the designated person? All the KMPs, key managerial personnel. That is CFO, CEO, all the kind of directors and company secretary are treated as the KMP. Then advise the companies under the insolvency and liquidation about the new filing eligibility and compliance requirement. So this is the scope as a consultant of a practicing cost accountant for a company. Now moving forward to the next rule. This rule is Companies Accounts Second Amendment Rule 2025, 31st May. This is on the 31st May 2025. So what is this says that all the AOC forms are now renamed to be E forms. That is AOC 1 should be renamed with AOC 1 E form AOC 1, AOC 2 will be renamed as E form AOC 2, and so on. So AOC 4 will be renamed as E form AOC 4. AOC 4 CFS is E form AOC 4 CFS. AOC 4 NBFC India S is E form AOC 4 NBFC India S, and AOC 4 CFS NBFC India S, and CSR 2. So now what is AOC 4? Form AOC 4 is a form that is filed with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that is MCA in India. It is used to provide annual filing financial statement and other relevant information about the company's financial performance and compliances with the laws and regulations. The AOC 4 must be filled within a 30 days from the annual general meeting. So what is the criteria for annual general meeting? It should be held within 180 days. And after the annual general meeting, within a 30 days, we have to file the AOC 4. So due date for the AOC 4 is usually 230 days. 210 days. So usually it is up to 31st October, we have to file all the AOC forms of the companies. So what are the types of the AOC forms? It is a regular AOC form for the filing financial statement and other document. Then if it is NBFC, then form AOC for consolidated financial statement NBFC, form AOC for XBRL. So these are the types of the AOC form. So who can sign the AOC form? Here, good news for us. A cost accountant, a practicing cost accountant who is in whole time practice can sign the AOC form. So we have to sign with our DSC. We have to select whether we are associate or fellow member. We have to enter our membership number. We have to attach our DSC over here, and we can file the AOC 4 form. So now we will discuss one AOC form, that is CFS NBFC India S. So CFS is consolidated financial statement. NBFC is non-banking financial companies. This is covered under India S. So what are the requirements for that? Information particular in respect of the consolidated balance sheet. So what we require, again, if we put a scene over here, it will be pre-filled. It will give us the name of the company, address of the company, email of the company. Now here we have to put the SRN of NBFC 4, AOC 4 NBFC filed by the company for a standalone financial statement. What we are discussing here is we are discussing consolidated financial statement. So this is for the group company. So under a group company, there are many standalone company. That is the reason this company is called as a group company. So for filing the AOC 4 of the CFS, we have to give the SRN of the individual company. Standalone financial means individual company who are a part of this group company. So what is mandatory for here is absolutely for filing the AOC for CFS, first individual AOC for NBFC should be filed, then only we can file the AOC for CFS, because this is a mandatory. This red star is mandatory. So this SRN is mandatory to file the AOC 4 for the consolidated financial statement. So if we pre-fill this, we will get a financial year, AGM details, due date, the date of the board meeting we have to file, then authorized board resolution we have to put over here. And this is to be digitally signed. Okay, so for this we require a director identification number, PAN number, CEO number, or membership number of the secretary. So here we have to attach the DSC of the KMP. Any KMP can sign over here, but his or her resolution should be passed in a meeting that he or she is eligible to file the AOC 4 or sign the AOC 4. And who can certify this? Chartered accountant in the whole-time practice, cost accountant in whole-time practice, company secretary in whole-time practice can sign the same. So we as a practicing cost accountant can sign AOC for CFS. So for this, we have to select the associate or fellow membership number, set COP number. We have to attach our DSC here. After attachment, we have to check the form. If there is no error, we have to pre-scrutinize the same. And after pre-scrutinization, we have to submit this form to the MCA. After submission, there is a generation of one SRN number. We can track the SRN number, which I have seen on the earlier slide, previous slide, how to track that SRN number. So we can track that SRL number, and we will also get an email relating to that SRL number. It is approved or not. And even if it is not approved, the reason will be there in our login. So this is basically filing of AOC 4 and CFS on a MCA portal. So this is a regular AOC 4. This is applicable to all the companies. So we require the authorized share capital, number of members of the company as on the date of the filing. So this is not on the closing date, but on the date of the filing, how many members are there. So general information, corporate identification number. By pre-filling, we will get all the data. The financial year we have to put. Then date of the board of directors meeting of financial statement was approved. Nature of the financial statement, whether this is a consolidated or standalone, then the date of the board meeting as per section 134, and date of signing of the report by the auditor. So on what date nowadays all the we have to generate the UDIN number the same way the CA will generate the UDIN number. So for the UDIN number, there is a date of the signing of the documents. So that date should match with the UDIN number of the particular certification. So this is basically, this will automatically match the date, and if the date is not matching, we will get a notification that the date is not matching. So what is the section 134 is basically, this 134 is basically financial statement and the board report. So we have to follow all the regulations given by in the section 134 of the Companies Act 2013. Whether the annual general meeting is held or not, if it is not applicable, then further details will automatically go up. If yes, we have to give the date of the annual general meeting. Again, who can sign this AOC 4? Chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary can sign this AOC 4. Associate and fellow member, here again we have to put our membership number and we have to attach our DSC over here. Then check the form. If no error, then pre-scrutiny. If no pre-scrutiny error, we have to submit. If the DSC is not registered with the MCA for a particular practicing professional, then there will be a pre-scrutiny error. So if we have to avoid this pre-scrutiny error, we have to register our DSC before filing these AOC forms. So if there is no pre-scrutiny error, we can submit this form to the ROC. So this is basically AOC for XBRL. All other things are same, but here slightly change on the after a 12. So what is the changes? Basically, details specified in a bank note, that is SBN, and transacted during the period for the ICMAI. This is nothing but the cash details. So cash in hand, permitted receipt, how much cash is allowed, permitted payment, amount deposited by the bank. Here, what the auditor is signing or certifying, whether the auditor have reported as to whether the auditor have reported as to whether the company has provided requisite disclosure in a financial statement as to the holding as well as the dealing in a specified bank note during a period. So period we have to give. And what are the attachment here? XBRL of financial statement, XBRL of consolidated financial statement if applicable, AOC 1 we have to attach, AGM notice and AGM minutes we have to attach, and other details if the CAG is applicable, we have to give the CAG details for that. So this is basically the XBRL. So this is MGT 7, this we have already discussed. This is MGT 7. This MGT 7 is signed by the company secretary and company secretary in practice. So now, what are the key changes of the AOC after this migration? There is no need to attach the PDF annexures because all the data we are filing in the forms itself. CSR2 and AOC4 CFS to be a link form. Pre-fill previous year figures with the mandatory changes and explanations. So there will not be any error for the pre-scrutiny as this previous year figure will be automatically pop up. This is pre-fill. Pre-fill means we do not have to fill any previous year figures. This will be automatically pop up. This is available in both the mode, that is offline and online. Till the migration is handy for every professional. Then streamline the form with the reduced redundancies, disclosure of secretarial audit qualification, AOC for filing unable for the companies under the CIRP and liquidation. If the company is under the liquidation, then also the company can file the IOC 4. So previously, if the company was under CIRP, we have to apply to the NCLT for filing the AOC 4. But now this filing is being enabled for the companies, although they are into CIRP or liquidation, and existing XBRL taxonomy to continue. So there is no taxonomy as of now, a new taxonomy we have to download for this form. So we can use our existing taxonomy available on the MCA portal to file this AOC 4 XBRL. So these are the key changes for the AOC 4 after migration. So now, filing document form and extension business reporting language amendment rule. This is issued by the MCA on the 6th June 2025. So in the companies, that is filing of the document forms in the extensible business reporting language, that which is called as an XBRL. So original rule was 2015. Thereafter refers to as a said rule in a rule 3 after subrule 1. The following subrule shall be inserted, namely the companies which have filed their financial statement under subrule 1 shall also attach a copy of signed financial statement duly authenticated as specified in section 134 of the companies, including the board report, auditor's report, and the other document in the PDF format in an e-form in a AOC 4 XBRL. So what is section 134? We discussed in earlier. Section 134 is nothing but financial statement and board reports. So what is this amendment says? We have to attach the PDF form of all the audit report or a financial statement signed by the chartered accountant along with this our AOC 4 XBRL. This is a new amendment dated 6th June 2025. Okay, so now the next amendment is companies registration offices and fees amendment rule 2025. So new form GNL1 is introduced. So what is the purpose of this form? This is for the filing of the application. This is for the compounding offenses. This is for extending AGM. This is for the scheme of the arrangement and amalgamation. And this is for the change of the company's name. So this is GNL1. So this is the new notification for the GNL1. So this is a form GNL1. This is a new form of GNL1. So how to file this? First, you have to select the purpose of the filing. So what is the purpose of that? Whether this is for the compounding offices, extension for the period of the AGM, scheme of amalgamation and other. Then specify the section for which we are applying category, whether the company is Indian company, foreign company. Then if it is an Indian company, we have to give a scene. If it is a foreign company, we have to give a FCRN. Then name of the office of the registrar. So it means under which ROC the company is registered. There are different ROCs under which the companies can be registered. Name of the company, address, email ID. The details of applicant who is applying the same. If it is a director, then dean. If it is a KMP, then PAN. All the details of the dean or key managerial personnel we have to give. Name, address, city, state, and email ID. Then application details, details of application. In case of application for compounding of offenses, we have to provide the below details. In the respect of company, director or manager, secretary or CEO or CFO or others, the number of person for whom the application is being filed, the details of person for whom the application is being filed. These are the categories we have to select. Then we have to select the DIN and PAN number. If it is not a director, we have to put a PAN number over here and name. Whether the application is sumoto. Sumoto means we have not received any notice from the ROC, but we are giving it by our own. That is called as a sumoto. In the pursuant of the notice, and if we notice, if we get any notice and then we are filing, then we have to select the this. But if we are filing without receiving any notice, then we have to select the sumoto. If we have received the notice, we have to give the notice number, date of the notice, section of which is applicable. If others, then specify brief description, period of a default, reason that held to default, whether the default has made a good. If yes, the default was made in good. If no, why the default has been made good, and the reasons, and so on. And this is for the investigation purposes. What we have to attach over here is copy of board resolution, scheme of the arrangement, that is merger acquisition approved by the board, detailed application, copy of the notice and other attachment if any. And we have to select here the DSC of the director or KMP will be attached along with their number. And again, this form can be signed by the practicing cost accountant who in a whole time practice. So this is also in our scope. We can sign this form. We have to select a practicing cost accountant, associate and fellow member. And we have to give our certificate of practice number and we have to submit it. And we have to upload the same on the ROC. So this is about GNL1. The next form is CSR1. Form CSR1 is required to be filed by the entities undertaking the corporate social responsibilities. So only for the limited companies, the CSR is mandatory. For the private limited companies, CSR is not mandatory. So for the public, limited companies, they have to file the CSR1. This form is applicable to the various entities, including Section 8 companies, registered companies, and societies that are either established by a company or by a central or state government or through any act or a parliament or a state legislature, and those with a track record at least 3 years of undertaking the similar activities. It means if a company is newly formed, then CSR1 is not applicable. If the company's life is more than 3 years, then the CSR1 is applicable for the above companies. So who need to file this CSR1? And as discussed, the entity is established by the company. So which companies? Section 8 companies, registered trust, registered societies established. They have to file the CSR1. Then entities. Hello. Entities established by the government, that is Section 8 companies, registered trust, societies established by the central or state government also need to file the form. Entities established under this act or a parliament or a state legislature, an entity established through such an act need to register by filing the form CSR1. Entities with a track record, Section 8 companies, registered trust, societies with a minimum of 3 years of experience is conducting the CSR activities are also required to file the CSR1 in a key point above. So what is the purpose of CSR1? For all the limited companies and listed companies, it is mandatory for them to transfer certain percentage from their net profit to the corporate social responsibilities. The MCA, that is Companies Act, also given how this CSR fund can be utilized by the limited companies or listed companies. So purpose of this CSR fund is how much portion of the net profit the company is transferring to the CSR fund and how they are utilizing the same. The form is used to register this entity with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to receive the CSR fund from the companies. So mandatory filing after 2021, companies can only contribute to the CSR activities that have to file the CSR1. Online filing, this form is online only. Verification, now here again we have a scope. Who can verify this? The form requires digital verification by a qualified professional, that is chartered accountant, company secretary, or a cost accountant. It means that we as a practicing cost accountant can also sign this form CSR1. So now let us discuss what is this form CSR1 is. This form is for the registration of the entities for the undertaking CSR activities. So now first we will discuss who are eligible, or this form is mandatory for the which group. Number one, the company established under section 8 of the company. So what are section 8 companies basically? Section 8 companies are nothing but the NGOs. The company established under section 8, register under 12A and approval under 80G, that we have to select separately. Registered public trust exempted under the subclause above. Below, registered public trust registered under the 12A and 80G of the Income Tax Act. Registered society exempted under subclause 4(5) below. Registered societies registered under 12A and 80G of the Income Tax Act. Company established under section 8, or registered trust or registered society established by the central government or state government. Entity established under any act of the parliament or state legislation. So we have to select one entity from the above. So now, whether the entity is any company or group, that is a standalone company or a group company, then if he has the provided details, what we have to add? The scene of the company and prefill. Prefill means name of the company, we will automatically get. If no, then track record of the 3 years we have to give. The type of existing entity, again we have to give a scene number and prefill. By prefilling, by clicking on a prefill, we will get name of the entity, date of incorporation, address, email ID, and we have to verify this email ID by sending the OTP. So we have to put OTP over here, and PAN number of the entity, details of the directors, in which name, designation, dean, and email ID. And what we have to attach over here? Copy of certificate of registration and copy of PAN of the entity. This is the, both are mandatory. This is star, means these are the mandatory attachment. So PAN number and certificate of registrations are the mandatory attachment for CSR1. So this is basically the CSR1 notification. So we will discuss one more form, that is form INC 22A. The primary purpose of INC 22A is to verify and confirm the register office addresses. As I mentioned in my earlier slide, why this is mandatory? The ROC want to check whether the company is fake or not, and how they will check? By verifying the register office address, whether the company is actually in exist or not. So for that purpose, we have to file the INC 22A. The form requires the companies to provide the address of their register office along with its latitude and longitude, coordination, and photographs of the office. Again, this photograph is to validate whether the company is physically existence or not, or this is a fake company or not. That we have to, that the ROC want to check. So in that case, we have to tag that company as an active. By filing the form, the company is marked as an active complaint, indicating their register office details and up-to-date accurate. Identify and address of the shell companies. The form is aimed to identify the potential without the shell companies by verifying their register offices. Strengthen the corporate governance by ensuring the accurate companies details. The form contributes to more transparent and robust corporate system. Filing requirement mandatory for the companies registered before 31st December 2017. All the companies incorporated on or after the date were required to file the form INC 22A. So online filing, this is an online form. Deadline for this form is 25th April, but now this deadline is extended for this particular period. Consequences. So what will happen if someone fails to file this form? There is a penalty of 10,000. So now let us discuss this INC 22A. So this is a form to check whether the company is active or not. So we have to give the corporate identification number. By pre-filling, we will get a name of the company, address of the company. This latitude and latitude, we have to put it manually. We have to verify this email ID by sending the OTP, whether the company is listed or not. Name, number of the directors we have to give. The maximum number of directors belong the limit, if any, we have to give, and along with the SRN of MGT14. It means that this form is automatically get validated with the MGT14. If there is any error, if it is then not matching with MGT14, we cannot pre-scrutinize this form. List of the directors, dean, directors, and status of the dean. We have to give, this is again a mandatory field. Details of statutory auditors. So whether the individual or auditor firms, auditor's PAN number, auditor's address, name, membership number, that all we have to give in this particular form. Then whether the company is required to appoint a cost auditor, that we have to give. So if yes, our details like who is the cost auditor, membership number, firm number, then name of the auditor, firm, financial year for which the auditor is appointed, all these things we have to give. Details of a managing director, CEO, manager, this is all the details of the KMP, number of roles, how many KMPs are there. So if we increase number here, this table will increase. If we put 2 over here, we will get a 2 table. So we have to give the details of 2 KMP in that case. Details of company secretary, only a PAN number, name and membership number you have to give. Details of the CFO, PAN number and name you have to give. Details of the AOC, for XBRL, so SRN. So again, this form will be validated with AOC 4 and MGT 7 as well. So if there is any mismatch for that, then there will be an error. So photograph we have to attach for the register office to cross check whether this company is physically existence or not, and optional attachment if any. So for the signing purposes, we have to give the details of the KMP or any 2 directors, designation, dean, and designation we have to give. This is a declaration, and this form is to be signed. So this is all about this form. Now moving to the charge management. So this is these are this charge we have to create with the ROC. So what is this charge is basically, this charge is related to the secured loan. For a secured loan, we have taken a loan against leaning our fixed assets. It means that our fixed assets are lien with a financial institute. So the company is not having a current lien on that particular asset. So this we have to report to the ROC by filing the charge document. Okay, so if a company's balance sheet is showing a secure loan, it is mandatory for the companies to file all these CHG forms. We will discuss one by one. The CHG form 1, this is intimation and creation of modification of charge other than those related to the debentures. So apart from debentures, we can lien with the shares as well. So we can file this form for the if we this charges against the shares. CHG1. Then we have CHG4, one for intimating the satisfaction of the charge. So what is satisfaction of charges? Basically, if we repay the secured loan, we have to take back the lien from the financial institute. So how we will take the lien from take back our lien from the financial institute? By providing the satisfaction of the charge, that we have paid a loan against this particular secure asset. So now these secure assets belong to the ownership of the company. So we have to file the charge 4 for intimating the satisfaction of the charge. Then CHG 6, intimation of appointment of acquisition of the receiver manager. Then CHG 8, this is for the RD approval for the delay in creation, modification, ratification of the charge. So if we want to do any changes after CHG 1, we have to file the CHG 8. And CHG 9 is basically intimation for the registration or creation of the modification of a charge for a debentures. As the CHG 1 was for other than the debentures, the CHG 9 is for the debentures. So other than the debentures, CHG 1, for debentures, CHG 9, for satisfaction, CHG 4, and for other amendments, CHG 6 and CHG 8. So all these forms can be signed digitally by a practicing cost accountant. So these are basically called as a charge document. So now moving to the incorporation and change services. Now, most practical difficulty in the what are the incorporation services we have? First one is run application for a change of the name of the existing company. So what is this? Is basically if we want to change the name of our existing company, we have to go with this run form. Second is reserve name for the new incorporation company. So before filing, before processing for the incorporation of the company, if we are not sure that whether this name is available for the registration or not, we can only reserve that particular name. For that, we have an option of 3 names. We can give the 3 options for the names, and we have to pay 1,000 rupees fee to the ROC for the reservation of the name. After filing this spice form, we will get an acknowledgement for this spice form, and if out of 3 any name is approved by the MCA, we will get an email stating that this particular name is approved by the MCA, so that we can prepare all our other documents with reference to that name. For example, memorandum of association and article of association, for both the documents we require the name of the company. Nowadays, both MOA and AOA are on the e-forms. So we have to pay a stamp duty online only. So before moving to the EMOA and EOA, we should ensure that this name is available for registration. So if we are confirmed that this name is available for the registration, we can prepare all our EMOA and EOA with that name, and we can file with that ROC. What is INC for? This is for the one-person company, change in name and the nominee. MR1, this is appointment of an MD, whole-time director or a manager. INC 22, this is a notice of a situation of the register office. So if we want to change the register office, so there are 3 options of changing the register office. Number 1, change within the city. Number 2, within the state, but from one city to another. And from third one is from one state to another state. For all these for all these options, we have to file the INC 22. Then we have INC 27. This is for the conversion of company. The conversion means if you want to convert your one-person company into private limited company, or private limited company into public limited company, or vice versa, you have to file this INC 27 for the conversion of company. Then SS7. This is alteration of share capital, either increase in a share capital or decrease in a share capital. Now, for both these purposes, we required a certificate from the register valuer for the valuation of the shares. For all kind of the shares, we need to obtain a valuation certificate from the register valuer for filing this SS7. Then we have ING 6, that is one-person company conversion form. So this is a special form when you want to convert your one-person company to the private limited company, you have to file the INC 6. This is basically the incorporation and the change services. Apart from that, if any changes relating to the change in the director, then you have to file the DRR 12. That is addition of director, removal of director, resignation of directors, casual vacancy. All these purpose we have to file the form DRR 12. So this is basically forms relating to the incorporation and change services. So now moving to the DIN related services. So in a previous version, it was mandatory to obtain a DIN before incorporation of the company. Now in a new version, even if a person is not having a DIN, we can apply his DIN number along with an application for the company formation. Okay, so what are the e-filing activities available for the DIN? Number one, application for allotment of the DIN. So this is a one-time activity for DRR 3. This is applicable for all the kind of the directors, even if it is applicable in the case of new formation of company, or even one person is in the additional of the addition director to the company, it is mandatory to allot the DIN number for them. So for that, DRR 3 is mandatory. Then DRR 3C, that is intimation of a DIN by the company. So if we get a DIN after that, on filing the DRR 3, we have to intimate this DIN that this particular director is allotted this particular DIN. All the DIN numbers are mapped with a PAN number of a particular director. These all DIN related form are web-based form. There are no offline mode available for this DIN related form. All the forms are web-based form only. Then DRR 6, change in a particular directors, that is addition of director, removal of director. For that purpose, we have to see. Then DRR 12, appointment of a director and KMP. So this DRR 12 is also applicable to the KMP, that is CFO, CEO or company secretary. For all these three purposes also we have to file the DRR 12 only. These all forms are not a routine form. This is as and when required we have to file. But DRR 3, KYC of a director, this is a yearly form. We have to do the KYC of a director on a yearly basis by filing a fee to the company, to the ROC. So form DRR 3 is also now a web-based form. This is verified directly to the KYC details. There is no offline mode available for the KYC purposes. This is completely a web-based form. So DRR 11, resignation of a director. This is also an web-based form. For this resignation of the DRR 11, we have to attach a resignation letter of a director, then the resolution on which his resignation is accepted. His resignation is accepted. All this we have to file along with our DRR 1. Then DRR 5, that is a surrender of DIN. If a particular person do not want to continue his DIN number due to any reason, this usually whether he is shifting permanently out of India or he is retiring from any company, then he can surrender this DRR 5. Then DRR 12, removal of disqualification of director. So in earlier DRR 11, it is due to the resignation of a director. If the director is not resigning from the post, but the company is removing him from the post of the director, then DRR 10 is to be filed. So in this case, the company has to specify the reason why the director is being removed. So whether he is disqualified, whether he has given any fraud, whether he has obtained any disqualification from being continue as a director, that we have to give along with our DRR 10. So there are two separate forms. One, in the case when the director resigns from the company, or DRR 10 when the director is removed from the company. And DRR 9 is disqualification of a director. So the Company Act has given certain the qualifications of a director. If the directors after appointing as a director become disqualified due to any of this activity, then we have to file the DRR 9 to disclose his disqualification to the ROC. ROC. These all are DIN related services. And this DIN we can verify by using our master data services. So now there are two versions of master data. One is V2 and V3. So V2 is no longer available from yesterday onwards. So we can verify this DIN by login our V3 login, and we can verify whether this DIN is active or not. This is basically DIN related services. So now, if we file any application in a ROC on the MCA portal, so in our login, we will get this kind of the details of the SRN. What is SRN? SRN is nothing but the service request number. So if we upload any form on the ROC, there is a generation of the SRN. We will get a confirmation of the SRN on our email ID that this particular, suppose take an example of CHG1. Suppose we have uploaded the CHG1 on a MCA by successful affiliation of the DSCs. So now, after uploading, the first portion will be pending for the action. So after uploading, there will be an under processing from the MCA point of view. If it is approved, the form will be reflected in an approved mode. If the form is rejected, this will be under the rejected column. If we cancel the form, this will be under the cancelled. And if in a pending status, we will get it is a pending for payment. We have to check the payment status, and we have to pay for that particular form. This is a certificate and letters. Here we can download the challan and receipt for a particular form, and this is a notice and order if against any particular form. So these are basically the application status of the forms we can see over here. So now we will see some login activities over here. So this is basically the notification which is pop up under the MCA side, which was my first slide. So these are the 38 forms which we have discussed, and these are the notification given by the MCA. So now, if suppose we want to register in a V3 login. So we have to go in this sign and sign up. So here there are two options. One is this is a V3 login portal. The screenshot I have already shared, discussed, and this is login to access the V2 VPD. So if you have the old V2 login, you can link this to your V2 login with your V3 login now. So if you want to register yourself, so there are two options. One is login, second one is register. So if you want to register, so there are two options available for the registration. One is registered user. In a registered user, you have only one category, that is as an individual. But if you want to register as a business user, you have a multiple roles here. What are the roles? You can register yourself as a company. You can register yourself as a deputy nodal officer. You can register as a director with a DIN number. You can register with a manager and secretary with a PAN number. You can register as a professional staff member, and you can register as a professional. So if you select a professional over here, it is asking you a further details. So what is that further details? PAN is mandatory. We have to select whether we are associate member or fellow member. Then we have to select our membership institute. So we have to select our institute. Then we have to give our professional membership number. What does this mean? This means that our login is directly linked with our membership number. So this so while registration of the DSC, this will be useful for us to register our DSC in our particular membership number. This membership number is mandatory over here. So we our login is directly linked with our membership details. So there are certain web-based form available with before this amendment rule. So web-based form is we have to there are two options available as I have shown in my slide. One is offline and online. So what does this mean? In a offline mode, we have to download these forms from the MCA portal. We have to file this form manually on offline mode. We have to affix our DSC on that, and then we have to upload other forms. That is called as an offline mode. And the online mode is nothing but a web-based mode, whether the form is available on a web itself or the page will be displayed on your login, and you have to file that forms. Now we will discuss few forms. So every time we will get the OTP. So if we go over here, this will give me my profile. How is my profile? And in this profile, I will get the DSC affixed to my profile. So here I can merge this my login with my V2 login, and here in a show DSC I can get my membership number, a PAN number, and DSC number when it was uploaded. So this is basically the my profile. So in the FOC services, we have DSC 3 services as well. Here we can do the association of the DSC. So this is a master data services for the V3. So here you can give any name of the company, LLP number, or SIN number. So you will get all the details of the master data over here. So for the ABB, this much companies are available with us. So this number are basically for the LLP number. This state and status are given. This number is not a SIN number. This is basically a LLP or FRN number. So if we click on that, we will get these three tabs available in a public master data. What are that? Index of charges and designated partner. So this is basically ROC Jaipur. There are various ROCs available in the India. So this LLP is belonging to the ROC Jaipur. The date of incorporation is 2022. Info, number of designated partners, the address, register address, obligation contribution. In case of the company, this will be a capital. Then LLP status, this LLP is currently active. So it is active. There is no strike off date. The status of CIRP, no CIRP is running on that particular LLP right now. Accounts filing, date of filing 21st November 2024 for the financial year 23-24. So 23-24 compliances are already done by the company. Annual return filing for the 24-25 is already done on 13th May itself. So this is ROC Jaipur. The RD is name of the register. So this is basically the master data. Then we have the index of charges. I just mentioned, I explained what is the charges. Charges is nothing but the forms filed for the secured loan. So these are the charges. Then we have a designated partner. So who are the partners in this particular LLP? So these two are the partners for this particular LLP. These are their deal number. And then date of the appointment 21st July 2075, and both are authorized signatory. If you want, you can print this in a PDF format. If you want, you can export this in Excel as well. And there are other document services, document related services also available. That is view a public document, but for which you have to pay certain amount to the ROC, then get certified copies and request for the scan. So this is basically a physical copy of a scanned document. You have to request and you have to pay the fees, and you will get a scanned document of a particular LLP on the register address mentioned in your login. So these are the additional services available with this particular master data. So these are the LLP forms available on the web base. So what are these form information of the LLP agreement and the changes? If there is any change, and if there is any new formation of the LLP, we can file the form 3. Notice for change in information of the partners. If there is any change in the partners, then form 4 will be there. Form 5, notice for the change in name. Notice 8, statement of Form 8, statement of accounts and solvency. So, which we have just seen the accounts and solvency date and period, that is directly reflecting from form number 8. Then form number 11, annual returns of the LLP. This is the annual form. Form 12, form for intimating the other addresses for the services of the documents. Form 15, notice of the change of the place of the register office. So the same we have discussed with the private limited companies. We had different forms for the change in the register office, that is INC 22. So instead of INC 22, here for the LLP purposes, we are filing the form 15. Then form 22, notice for the intimation of the order of the register. Form 23, application for the directors to LLP to change their name of the registrar. Form 24, application for strike off of the name. Form 25, reservation, renewal of a name by the FLLP or a foreign company. Form 27, registration of particular foreign LLP. Form 48, 28, reporting of alteration or clause. Form 31, application for compounding of an offense under this act. Form 32, filing the amendment of rectification of the defects. And form 40, return of the registration. And last one is education. So these are the services available for the LLP. These are the FO services for verification of the DIN and PAN, inquiry of the DIN status, whether this DIN is active or not. Find the LLPIN for a particular LLP, find the CIN of the company, associate DSC, which we have discussed, associate DSC. This is for the KMP and all the kind of professionals, practicing professionals. Track the payment status, inquiry about the fee. Supposing we have to file one form and we don't know the form, what are the ROC charges? Usually the client asks us what is the fees required. So for that purpose, we can put a form number over here and we can inquire the fees from the MCA about the particular form so that we can quote the client accordingly. Check the company and LLP name, whether the company name is available or not. This is before applying for the LLP registration. This is mandatory for us to check whether this is available or not. Authorize, suspend user. If you want to give authority to one person, or if you want to suspend the authority of particular user, we have to file on that. Check the annual filing of the status. This is useful for the merger and acquisition purposes. Suppose one company wants to take over the another company. So before taking over that particular company, we will check whether all the ROC compliances are done or not. For that purpose, we need to check the annual filing status, then list of any offenses under section 82 are there or not. This is DSC services. We have acquired the DSC, but this cannot be done online here. For that purpose, we have to use the external agencies to acquire the DSC. But after acquiring the DSC, we can associate with this DSC with our membership number. Then company e-filing incorporation we have discussed. Deed related services we have discussed. This charge we have discussed. This is information and investor services, declaration for commencement of a business. Form 20A, we have discussed intimation for revocation of the license under section 8. Supposing we don't want to continue, we can revoke the license. INC 28, notice for order of the court or complement. GNL 4, abandoned form. Pass 4, this is also an annual form for the information of memorandum. And last one is refund form. So these are the compliance services written for the register in the declaration of 90. Resolution under the agreement written for the dormant companies. Half yearly return micro for the MSMEs. Pass 3, return of allotment. Pass 6, reconciliation of shares. SH11, buyback of security. GNL 2, submission of document, and GNL 3, particulars of the purpose. Then approval services, INC 23 for the shifting of the office. INC 18, conversion of section 8 company. RD1 for the regional director. ADJ, memorandum of appeal. INC 24, application of change name. INC 12, application for license to the existing company. MNC 1, application for obtaining the status of dormant company. This is the annual filing, and this is for the foreign company. DPT 3, return of deposit, statement regarding the deposit existing of the commencement of the fact. Nidhi companies, there are the forms for the statutory compliances as well for the Nidhi companies. Return of statutory companies, application of extension, return of the Nidhi company, and declaration of the Nidhi company. Here we can raise a complaint against the services. This is again a document related services. View a public document. This we have just seen. Fees and payment. Pay the fees for the miscellaneous. Pay a stamp duty as I explained. Nowadays we have to pay a online EMOA and EAOA stamp duty. So we can pay a stamp duty from here. We can track our payment status from the here. Then ID, this is for the independent director database, corporate registration, or individual database. So these are basically the MCS services available for the V3 login. I'm done with the presentation. Any query? Any question? I'm done with the presentation. Any question?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think there are no questions. So can we wind up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your expertise and conducting an excellent webinar. We appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you for giving me opportunity, madam.
Yeah, thank you very much, madam.
Thank you.